In my previous video, I mentioned that you should never buy a jigsaw for a jigsaw puzzler unless you know them through and through. Because to those who don't know, a jigsaw is just a jigsaw, but once you're in the hobby, they are vastly different and everybody has their own styles and preferences. So just as an example, for instance, here you can see this is what is called a grid cut. You can get unusual shapes. Some people like the grid cut because it's easier to puzzle through if you need to lay out the pieces. Some people prefer the unusual shapes for the variety. And then you've got the picture. The picture, this one is an illustrated picture. It's a drawing. Some people prefer photographs. Some people prefer gradient puzzles where it's not actually an image like a recognisable image. And yet, all that said, that for instance, even still, you go down to the thickness of pieces. I like very thick pieces. I do not like thin pieces. So that limits the brand I can use usually. Because when you put a piece into a hole, if you're doing it with a thick piece, it has quite a definite feel of a click, this beautiful click that's very satisfying if it's a thick board. If it's not, it just doesn't feel the same to me. But as I say that, there's always exceptions to every rule, and sometimes the exception can hinge on the tiniest little detail. This puzzle was bought for me by my wife, and she normally does not buy me puzzles because she knows there are too many qualifications on what I want from one. So she just usually takes me to the shop and lets me get my own. But this one, she saw, and she immediately knew, because she knows me through and through, that even though technically it's everything I don't want from a jigsaw, particularly being illustrated, that I would still love doing this puzzle. And the reason is the tiniest detail. It's a very pretty image of a little bridge over a small brook with a cottage in there, and that's it. But it's not that she chose it for. It's this. Over here, can you see there's a little red squirrel, tiny little squirrel, and on the puzzle I've got him and he's over here. And she knew that because of that tiny, what is he? He's 3, maybe 4 pieces. Yeah, just probably have his ears on another piece. He's 4 jigsaw pieces out of 1,000 that I would enjoy doing the jigsaw, because she remembers that I often tell stories about what my grandfather was like, and one of his main things was he loved squirrels. He used to buy packets of nuts and put them out in his garden to feed the squirrels, and then he would sit and watch them come and take the nuts. So as soon as she saw the squirrel, she thought, yep, even though everything else isn't right, he'll enjoy this. And I have. I really enjoyed it. Yet again, it's more of a budget brand of jigsaw. It's corner pieces. Now, the last one I did was the Italian village, and that had issues because the colours on the box lid were not the same as the colours in the actual picture. Which, box lids, even box lids are something that jigsaw puzzlers will go on and on about. I could talk a lot about the different style of boxes, and boxes are very important for me because I like to sit here with the box lid in my hand, looking at the box, going through my pieces, or picking up a piece, say, picking up a piece and saying, oh right, that's that now, where does that go on the box? I like to do that. It's just part of the relaxation for me. But let me show you why boxes can be important. The last one, it was the colours that were wrong. The colours on this one are actually okay. However, if you look at the picture, you've got the cottage, you've got the bench, then you've got a tree and a tree. Yet on the actual puzzle, you've got the cottage, you've got the bench, you've got the tree and then a tree, and then somehow you go on to another tree and a big wide open space and another tree. And what's actually happened is the picture has been cut off on the box. If you look at the picture on the side, you will see that yes, the extra trees and the space is there, but it's in such a small format that you'd need a magnifying glass to be able to read it, or certainly at least eyes that are 30, 40 years younger than mine. And so even boxes can get people started and debating. You know, you can get different size boxes, you get different quality boxes, you get different things that come in the boxes. These just come in an empty box. But say Gibson's come with a catalogue inside. I think Ebu puzzles actually come with a poster of the picture you're going to make. So all in all, you know, unless you've been told over and over and over again what your puzzler likes, stay well clear. A jigsaw may be a jigsaw to the layman. They might think, oh, this is a pretty landscape, this is a pretty picture, but no, don't do it. Stay well clear, unless you know them well enough, like my wife knows, that even 4 little pieces of a red squirrel will make all the difference. And I've really enjoyed doing this jigsaw. I use jigsaws to relax. I don't intend to try to do them. Some puzzlers will do a 1,000-piece jigsaw in 3 or 4 hours in an afternoon. I try to make mine last about a week. I sit down, I study it, I play with the pieces, I sort the pieces. I love sorting out the straight edges at the beginning of the process. And we're all different. Every one of us likes to do things different. For instance, some people will, when they've completed the puzzle, they'll glue it down and make it into a picture and an artwork and put it on the wall. I don't. If I've enjoyed the puzzle, I take it very carefully apart, very carefully. I almost like undo every single piece. Some people just grab it all and fold it in and pull it to pieces that way. But I take every little piece apart one by one, and then I put it into 2 bags, 2 equally spaced bags, the puzzle divided equally between the 2. And I do not do like some people do. Some people will put the straight edges in one bag and all the middle pieces in another, so they don't have to sort out the straight edges when they come to do the puzzle again. But as I've said, I enjoy the sorting, so I deliberately mix the straight edges back in. And I keep puzzles I like. I do them again over and over. But the ones I don't like, then I give to the church charity shop and let them get what they can for them. And it can be very arbitrary, you know, like things. The thickness of the pieces matters. The thickness of the pieces. So you have to know what brand a puzzler likes. There are so many brands out there, and some brands are too expensive for some people, some brands are not expensive enough. But even though this one is a cheap brand, it has been quite enjoyable. And I did enjoy the last one, the Italian lake one. Like I said, that one had the issues with the difference in the colours. I couldn't really go off the picture because the colours were so different. But that's a skill in itself. Some people don't do the picture. Some people deliberately don't look at the box and ask somebody else to unbox the pieces for them. Yeah, the jigsaw world's quite a lot bigger than you'd think. And there's a lot more to it. So we're all very different. It's quite a varied hobby. For those of you that are not into it, just know now that a jigsaw is not just a jigsaw. You can't see a pretty picture and buy it for someone and think that will do. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mind Fiend. You guys, as always, have been wonderful. Bye for now.